Charleston's got something most cities don't. It has long-term advantages that keep getting stronger over time. These advantages don't disappear just because the economy shifts. I've been selling real estate here in Charleston for the last 20 years, and I can guarantee you the next 10 years are gonna separate Charleston from other cities that are just having their moment. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 biggest advantages Charleston is seeing right now that will shape the future of our economy for the next 10 years into 2036 and beyond. Let's get into it. Number 1, military, medical, and tech create unshakable economic diversification in Charleston. 25,000 employees, $12.7 billion in economic impact, and zero chance of moving away. That's just the military. Before we even talk about healthcare and tech, let's talk about why Charleston's economy is built to last, even when other markets slow down. It comes down to what I call the military, medical, and tech triangle. This sets up people to keep working no matter what's happening in the wider economy. Let's start with the military. Joint Base Charleston is the largest employer in the region with 25,000 workers. That includes about 10,000 active duty service members and 15,000 civilians and Department of Defense employees. And this goes way beyond the base itself. The military supports 78,000 jobs across the area and brings in $12.7 billion in economic impact every year. The government sector, which includes Joint Base Charleston, the Naval Information Warfare Center Atlantic, and more than 60 federal agencies, makes up about 17% of all jobs in the Metro Charleston area. Here's why this matters. Military jobs don't disappear during recessions. Service members stationed in Charleston still get paid, still rent homes, still use local healthcare, and still eat at local restaurants no matter what is going on with the global economy. That steady presence creates a solid floor for the local economy and helps stop major crashes when things slow down. It's why Charleston didn't get hit as bad during the 2009 banking crisis. After military, you're talking about MUSC, the Medical University of South Carolina. MUSC is the second largest employer in the region with 17,000 employees, plus another 31,000 people connected to it. That includes professors, doctors, specialists, researchers, students, and contractors. MUSC runs hospitals with about 2,700 beds and is actively expanding. It serves 46 counties across South Carolina with 750 care locations and 350 telehealth sites. MUSC is also growing its medical training programs, which keeps more doctors and healthcare workers in Charleston. Healthcare jobs are also super stable. Hospitals don't shut down during recessions. Some services may slow, but emergency care, cancer treatment, and heart care never stop. Because MUSC is so large, it supports a huge part of the skilled workforce, which helps keep income steady and supports the housing market. Okay, now let's talk about tech. Charleston's tech scene has grown fast. What started as a small startup community has turned into more than 400 companies working in cloud computing, AI, cybersecurity, data systems, and software. The Charleston Digital Corridor, founded in 2001, helped build this growth by supporting startups, connecting entrepreneurs, and helping companies scale. In 2024, Charleston was named South Carolina's official tech hub, which could lead to more than 14,000 new tech jobs by 2030. Local companies like Blackbaud, Fish Labs, and Benefit Focus prove that Charleston can grow successful tech businesses and attract major investment. Now here's the headline move. In September 2024, Alphabet, Google's parent company, committed $3.3 billion to expand its data center operations in South Carolina, with a focus on Berkeley and Dorchester counties, which are part of the Tri-County Charleston area. Then in October 2025, they announced another $9 billion through 2027. That is a total of $12.3 billion committed to Charleston. Here's why having all 3 of those sectors matters. Cities that depend on just one industry can collapse if that industry falters. Charleston doesn't have that problem. The military keeps running no matter what. Healthcare keeps growing because people always need healthcare. And Charleston's tech sector has often grown even during slowdowns as companies invest more in their digital systems. That means no single industry can take down the Charleston economy. This steady job growth creates stability. But the type of people that these jobs bring in, that's where Charleston's story really starts to separate itself from other cities. And listen, if you're thinking about moving to Charleston and want clear advice on which neighborhoods have the most growth potential, I help people in this every single day. I've helped more than 5,000 families make a great choice to move to Charleston. My contact information is in the description below, so don't hesitate to reach out. Number 2, Charleston functions as a lifestyle city, not a job-driven market. 30 to 40 people every single day for over 20 years move to Charleston. And the reason they're coming completely changes how the market acts when things slow down. This is where Charleston is different from cities like Raleigh, Greenville, or Atlanta. Here's the thing. People aren't moving to Charleston because they have to. They move to Charleston because they want to. They're not chasing a company relocation. They're not escaping job losses from cities losing industries. They're coming for the water, for walkable streets, for historic buildings, for great food, for year-round outdoor lifestyle, for mild weather with no harsh winters. They want the lifestyle of Charleston first. The jobs, they come second. From 2014 to 2024, the Charleston metro area grew by 21%. That's faster than the state of South Carolina, which is the top state in the U.S. for people moving in. Today, the metro area has more than 869,000 people and sits in the top 10% of the fastest growing metro areas in the country. Let's be honest. This matters a lot when the economy takes a hit. Cities where people move because they need a job behave very differently from cities where people move because they want to live there. Look at Raleigh and Charleston. Raleigh's housing boom depends on big companies and tech jobs. When those companies slow down, jobs disappear, incomes drop, and expensive homes become impossible to afford. Prices fall and the market crashes. Charleston doesn't work like that. That want to live here demand stays strong during recessions. A retiree with $1.5 million saved doesn't suddenly need to sell when tech slows down. A remote worker in San Francisco earning six figures still has a job even if West Coast tech struggles. And just wait until we talk about the military, medical, and tech sectors. You'll see how they add even more strength to our local economy. Now here's where geography makes it even stronger. Charleston's historic district, which started back in 1931, put permanent limits on how much the city is allowed to grow. The historic peninsula is packed with rules, restrictions, and zoning laws that make new construction slow and difficult. These rules aren't temporary. They're a core of what makes Charleston so special. Charleston is surrounded by water and protected by history. The city can't just spread out. Unlike Greenville, which you can just keep building new buildings and new neighborhoods, Charleston has a fixed size market with nonstop demand. That pushes prices higher over time. And here's where it gets even more interesting. All these new residents aren't adding people. They're also bringing in billions of dollars from another major source. Number 3, tourism generates $14 billion annually and continues accelerating. Charleston's tourism industry creates jobs that help keep the housing market steady, even when other parts of the economy slow down. In 2024, Charleston's tourism industry brought in $14 billion in direct economic impact. That's a 7% jump from 2023, and it makes up almost 25% of the entire Charleston metro economy. This isn't a small slice of the pie. This is a major engine. Nearly 7.9 million visitors come to Charleston, and each one spends about $1,100 on hotels, food, entertainment, and attractions. Tourism's revenue has grown 32% since just 2021, but the number of visitors has only increased by 9%. That tells you Charleston isn't just getting more tourists, it's getting higher spending tourists. These are wealthier travelers who spend more each trip. The mix of places to stay matters too. In 2024, Charleston hotels sold almost 5 million room nights. At the same time, short-term rentals like Airbnbs grew to 10,000 active units, and the revenue from each of them rose 11% from the year before. The average short-term rental earned about $90,000 a year. Together, hotels and short-term rentals generated $1.55 billion for Charleston's tourism economy. This step up proved it could handle big challenges like the pandemic and economic swings. Charleston's international airport also had a record year in 2024 with 6.2 million passengers. That shows how much better air access has become and how Charleston is now a top vacation choice, not just a backup plan. Now let's talk about the food. Charleston's restaurant scene isn't just for tourists. It is a real economic driver. Restaurants here pay people well and they attract talent. People actually plan trips around where they're going to eat in Charleston. Charleston is home to chefs nominated for James Beard Awards, chefs protecting low country traditions, and respected international voices in food. These aren't casual walk-in spots. Many require reservations weeks or even months ahead. But here's something interesting about tourism. Unlike attractions that need huge marketing budgets, Charleston's food scene markets itself. And here's something most people miss. Tourism spending often holds up during hard times. When people lose jobs, they cut back on basics. But wealthy retirees, second homeowners, and high-income professionals still travel for fun even in down economies. A well-off retiree from the Northeast isn't canceling a Charleston trip just because tech slows down somewhere else. That kind of steady spending helps protect Charleston during recessions. So what does $14 billion in tourism revenue really mean? It supports restaurants, hotels, entertainment, and service jobs that don't disappear when companies relocate or when tech hiring drops. Tourism creates jobs that keep housing demand steady, no matter what's happening elsewhere in the economy. That gives Charleston's housing market multiple layers of support. And once you look at other major job sectors here, you'll see why Charleston's economy is so hard to knock down. Number 4, Charleston has the deepest port on the East Coast that brings big business. Charleston's port is 52 feet deep. That makes the Charleston port the most efficient deepwater port on the entire East Coast, and big companies are betting billions of dollars on it. Charleston Harbor isn't just deep compared to nearby ports. With 52 feet of depth and an entrance channel that reaches 54 feet wide, it can handle massive ships at any tide. Ports like Baltimore and Savannah and Jacksonville, they just can't do what Charleston can. So why does Charleston's port matter for your real estate investment? Charleston's port has 3 container terminals spread across more than 200 acres, plus 25 post-Panamax cranes that can handle the world's largest container ships. It's the 8th largest port in the U.S., and the South Carolina Ports Authority is investing over $3 billion to modernize it to handle more than 10 million containers in a single year. That is not a future idea. That is real money being spent to keep the supply chain strong for years to come here in Charleston, South Carolina. Look at the companies already here because of this port. Walmart picked Dorchester County for a massive distribution center, increasing port activity by about 5%. Amazon is adding more distribution centers in Charleston too, including a new 87,000 square foot site on Weber Boulevard and a 40,000 square foot delivery hub in Hanahan. And here's what most people aren't talking about yet. The equity-rich buyers we'll talk about later are showing up faster because these corporate investments are bringing in relocating executives. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, Volvo Cars builds vehicles at its Berkeley County plant using the Columbus Street terminal, which processes around 220,000 vehicles each year. That same terminal also ships BMW and Mercedes-Benz vehicles, making it a major hub for car exports. Boeing invested $1 billion and added more than 1,000 jobs to expand its North Charleston operations, all because of easy access to the port and its supply chain. That's billions of dollars in permanent investments from major companies. When businesses commit to a port, they're planning to stay for decades. They don't just pack up and leave. The cost is too high. Port operations support 225,000 jobs across the state and generate $63 billion in annual economic activity. These aren't temporary roles. These are full-time jobs in manufacturing, logistics, and distribution that require permanent buildings. So what does that mean for you? When employers are spending billions to stay in Charleston, they create jobs. More jobs means more people that need homes. When housing is limited, prices continue to rise, and that keeps happening no matter what the economy is doing. The port isn't leaving. The companies aren't leaving either. And that stability matters even more when you look at who's moving to Charleston. These buyers are very different from ones who are heading to cities like Raleigh or Atlanta. Number 5, Charleston attracts equity-rich buyers, not just job movers. I'm talking cash buyers, inherited wealth, people moving from the Northeast and paying 50% less than they would for a similar home back home. This is the type of buyer changing Charleston's prices and keeping the market steady even when local wages don't line up with the prices. All right, here's where Charleston really separates itself from, let's say, Greenville. And this part matters if you want to understand why prices in Charleston are expected to continue to rise over the long term, and they are. Charleston's population shift shows something important. While Greenville attracts a lot of young families and professionals who move for jobs, Charleston is pulling in wealthier people who move for the lifestyle, not because they need the work. The people coming here are easy to track. They're arriving from New York, from New Jersey, from Massachusetts, from California, from Chicago, Atlanta, and they're bringing money that's either been built over decades or handed down. Many of these buyers pay in cash. They include retired executives, people with family wealth, successful tech founders, finance professionals, and healthcare leaders. This group has grown so much that it's reshaping Charleston's luxury market. Years ago, luxury buyers were mostly older residents with inherited money. Now it's a mix of younger millionaires who earned their wealth and chose Charleston for the lifestyle and long-term value of the real estate in this area. They picked Charleston over places like Miami, Naples, Savannah, even though the wages here are lower because they don't depend on a local paycheck. Here's the financial reason that keeps pulling people in. Moving from states like New York or New Jersey to Charleston saves a massive amount of money over time. South Carolina doesn't tax Social Security income, which is huge for retirees who earn six figures. Property taxes are also much lower in Charleston as well than many places in the Northeast. South Carolina's average effective property tax rate is 0.57%. In Worcester County, New York, it's about 2.29%. On a $500,000 home, that's more than $8,600 saved every year just from moving there to Charleston. Over 30 years, that adds up to more than $250,000 in property tax savings alone, even before counting income taxes. And these aren't small numbers. For retirees moving from the Northeast, moving to Charleston can mean saving hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 20 years. That difference often seals the deal. And once they settle here, they have extra money to spend on luxury items, and that continues to push the market higher and higher. Right now, the Charleston metro area has a medium home price to the low to mid 600s. Places like downtown Charleston, Mount Pleasant can even go higher. Compared to northeastern markets, though, these prices feel, well, affordable. In Westchester County, New York, a home priced around $800,000 might cost only $400,000 to $500,000 in Charleston. That's almost like a 50% discount. Plus, the tax savings that make that move even more attractive are bringing these people in. Many of these buyers also move up in the size of home. An 1,800 square foot home in the Northeast often turns into a 2,500 square foot home in the Charleston area, sometimes with water views and better walkability. Here's something even more interesting. A lot of these moves happen across generations. Kids and grandkids, they'll move to Charleston first, and then the parents and grandparents will follow. That creates a chain reaction that brings even more wealth into the Charleston area year after year. Wealthy retirees from the Northeast and Midwest are also buying second homes in Charleston. These are vacation or winter homes, often purchased without selling their main residence. And these second homes are usually higher priced, which adds even more buying power to the market. So why does all this even matter for Charleston's future? Because limited housing supply, thanks to historic preservation rules, combined with a steady flow of wealthy buyers, keeps prices rising even when local wages don't grow much. That's why they can and do pay more to move to Charleston. And as long as people from wealthier regions continue moving to Charleston and the supply of homes stays limited, prices will continue to climb for years to come. Outside wealth will continue to flow into the Charleston market. It's going to create a constant upward pressure on prices even when other parts of the economy slow down. Okay, to wrap up, Charleston's growth over the next decade is built into the structure of the city, with 5 separate pillars working together in a way you almost never see in one market. These are long-term advantages that keep getting stronger no matter what the broader economy is doing. If you're comparing Charleston and want smart guidance on which neighborhoods give you the best chance for price growth while still fitting into your ideal lifestyle, send me an email so I can give you a hand. It's sales@mattoneilteam.com. Now, knowing why Charleston does well long-term is important. There are also 13 real-life realities about living here that can turn a dream move into a total headache if you are not ready for them. Check out the video I linked here, where I break down every challenge you'll face and help you decide if Charleston is actually even right for you. Hey, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.